Climate Action report before us today. My colleague Eamon Ryan played a vital role in pressing for this committee to be set up, just as we pushed for climate issues to be included in the Citizens' Assembly. I would like to commend all those who worked on this report, the TDs, senators, committee staff, researchers, academics, activists, and everyone who contributed and presented to create a very important document, the beginnings of a real roadmap towards a greener, safer, secure future for all of us. This cross-party report is not perfect, but it is an important first step, and it is vital that we here in this House go further than just noting its contents, as usually happens with committee reports brought before the House. Because noting their contents, as we all know, means condemning them to gather dust on a shelf in the ministerial corridor, and that cannot happen with this report. This Dáil has noted too many committee reports without the government taking the step of actually putting their recommendations into force. We cannot afford this report to be treated in the same way, and that is why we have submitted an amendment to have this report endorsed by the Dáil. This committee was created as a process for parties and independents to come together to tease out the issues, have the important discussions and come to a conclusion together. Compromises were made. They have to be when we all commit to working together. Not everything that the Green Party sought to include in this report made it to the final draft. We all had to make compromises, because if we did not, nothing would ever get done. In a cross-party process like this, no one gets everything they want, but it is vital that we not fixate on individual issues, instead that we come together, unite around the issue of our time, saving our planet and creating a sustainable future. And to that we say yes. Today we have an opportunity to commit to doing something real, something tangible. This issue is too important for us to do anything less. This report is a roadmap for real action. Let's endorse that roadmap, because the cost of climate inaction, financial, social and ecological, is too great to risk. We need action, and we need that action now. The scale of the change we need to make cannot happen without the political will to make radical, systemic change to how we structure our world. Individual citizens all have a crucial role to play, but it must be a government-led approach, with the biggest polluters being made to change their ways. Hope is coming from those who will suffer the most from climate change, our young people, who have been taken to the streets calling for climate action. Every Friday, students have gathered outside Leinster House to protest the government's climate inaction. Our young people realise that they will be the ones most affected by the short-sightedness of government today, but they do not have an electoral voice yet. And I know I have 3 children at home, aged 12, 10 and 8, and they are already talking, Minister, about looking forward to going to the ballot box, because their future, like all other children, is at risk. And I know that my children, as they watch this debate tonight, like many other young leaders of this country, will be disappointed that 9 members out of 158 saw fit to find the time to debate this issue. So when people tell us that they are members of this House and they care about climate change, I say, where are they now? And I hope that our children, and in the climate strike on May 24th, will shout that loudly and clearly. Where were you when we debated this report, one of the most important reports to come out of the 32nd Dáil? Minister, we cannot tackle climate change and continue to explore, to drill for oil and gas, or continue with a national development plan that prioritises road expenditure over public transport, walking and cycling. As my Green colleague in the UK, Caroline Lucas, said, we cannot tackle climate change with an economy built on the assumption that precious minerals, fresh air, clean water and rare species can magically regenerate themselves in an instant. In Ireland, in the last 18 months, we have had a blizzard, a hurricane and a prolonged summer drought. We watched news items in February where people were wearing shorts and there was a queue for 99s. It's not right. It's chaotic. It's climate chaos. It's climate meltdown. It's a climate emergency. Temperatures are rising and our ecosystems and habitats globally and locally are being pushed to the limit, and our seasons are being utterly knocked out of kilter. This has terrifying implications for our natural heritage, our insects and our future food security. That is why it is vitally important that this House declares a climate emergency, and we are calling on all members to support the Green Party's amendment to the motion tonight to do just that. But it is also essential that in declaring a climate emergency, we also commit to concrete, real and identifiable action, and not just unite around vague concepts. There is little value in all declaring a climate emergency without actually committing to do anything about it, which is why we must endorse the report of the committee. There is no room for complacency. There is no room for populism. There is no room for greenwashing in this, the greatest challenge facing humanity. Greta Thunberg, the inspiring young climate activist, has said, "Our house is on fire." Well, I say, when your house is on fire, you don't extinguish just part of the fire. You extinguish every single bit of it and make sure you are safe. That is why we need to endorse all the recommendations of this report, make sure they're implemented, and then some.
Thank you, Deputy.